Well, hey guys, get excited. One of my favorite topics, and that is sunscreen. I have some new sunscreens that have come out recently that I've been trying out to review for you all. I've been getting a lot of comments. Can you please check out the new EUCERIN sunscreens at Target? Funny enough, I ended up finding them at my local Kroger. So I picked up the EUCERIN Age Defense plus Hyaluronic Acid SPF 50 face lotion, and I've been loving this. It's a chemical sunscreen. There is no cast with it. But y'all know the dilemma when it comes to American chemical sunscreens. You've got to be really careful because a lot of times they end up running into your eyes and cause that blurry vision, burny eye situation that is miserable. And this has not been the case with any of these EUCERIN sunscreens that I have tried out, including this Age Defense plus Hyaluronic Acid lotion. This product is super moisturizing. It has a complex of antioxidants in it, vitamin E, sodium ascorbyl phosphate, and it has compounds from licorice root. The compounds from licorice root can help minimize oxidative stress in the skin upon exposure to UV, and they can help with both redness and hyperpigmentation. Now, the sodium ascorbyl phosphate, it is a stabilized form of vitamin C. Whether or not it gets into the skin and converts to ascorbic acid has yet to be actually determined, but there are a few small studies suggesting that this ingredient is helpful for acne. So it's a good ingredient for probably minimizing oxidative stress that can trigger acne flares. Anyways, this product, get ready for it, does not have niacinamide. And I say that as someone who loves niacinamide, but dang, it is getting harder and harder to find niacinamide-free products, including sunscreens. And while it's a great ingredient, a lot of people are finding that they just don't get along with it and are struggling to find products free of niacinamide. None of these EUCERIN products has niacinamide. So there is that. I love the consistency of this. It's really moisturizing. It doesn't feel greasy. It's quick absorbing because it has alcohol denaturant, which I know a lot of people are timid about, but trust me, alcohol denaturant is not a bad ingredient. It helps with not only stabilizing the filters, but it also allows for a fast absorbing, quick dry formula that doesn't feel greasy or heavy on the skin and allows for good evaporation of sweat, which is exactly what this does. It's formulated with moisturizing ingredients that balance out any potential drying effect from the alcohol denaturant. The hero, if you will, ingredient in this is hyaluronic acid. Now that's a humectant and it helps pull water into the top layers of the epidermis, plumping up skin cells, smoothing out wrinkles and fine lines. Some people find they do not get along with hyaluronic acid. However, personally, I love products with hyaluronic acid. I find that it really just helps, I don't know, improve the look of wrinkles and fine lines quite a bit and just maintain hydration throughout the day and a properly formulated moisturizer, which this is. Now, this is free of fragrance, pretty short ingredient list overall. You can become allergic or irritated by anything, even if it's a short ingredient list. But overall, this is a very simple, no-nonsense formula that looks great on the skin. It doesn't burn or sting the skin, at least for me. I think if you have had issue with chemical sunscreens, they're hit or miss for you, you may consider giving this a try because it is very well formulated in the sense that I didn't experience any of those burny, stingy issues that you can run into with a lot of chemical sunscreens. It's free of oxybenzone, which tends to be the chemical filter that causes issue for people, at least in terms of allergy to sunscreen. Now, this is not water resistant, so I would not suggest this as a sunscreen to use if you're going to be participating in sport, you're going to be outside, or of course, if you're going to be doing anything water related. Then I would choose a water resistant sunscreen. But as an everyday moisturizer with SPF 50, that actually can be kind of hard to come by in an affordable product, which, let's talk about the price. All of the EUCERIN sunscreens are $13.99. This is $13.99 for 2.5 ounces, which is a great value. Like I said, I got mine at Kroger, and I'm sure you could buy it at the other Kroger family grocery stores, at Ralph's and King Soopers. Target definitely sells it, and Target, you can get it online from target.com. So love that one. And then I also have tried out the oil control, oil absorbing minerals. This one is intended for people with oily skin, and they're saying oil absorbing minerals. I guess they're talking about the silica, but the age defense one also has silica, and silica can kind of help with absorbing excess oiliness and reducing shine. Like the age defense one, this product also has the licorice root that can help with redness and hyperpigmentation. It has the same sodium ascorbyl phosphate, and it has vitamin E. Those are antioxidants that may help minimize oxidative stress in the skin and can help in minimizing acne flares. Now, this product, in contrast to the age defense one, does not have hyaluronic acid. So if you don't get along well with hyaluronic acid containing products, here you go. This is an option. It also, again, is free of niacinamide, which is getting, like I said, getting harder and harder to come by. Now, for me personally, I actually prefer the look of the age defense on the skin to this. This is a more matte sunscreen. I found that in contrast to the age defense, this was a little bit more filmy and gave a bit more of a shine that I did not quite care for. Whereas the age defense really just was like, I put moisturizer on and it didn't leave any shininess or greasy appearance to the skin. This isn't greasy, but it does have a little bit of a shine. Now, there is alcohol denaturing in this as well, which is gonna, again, help with that fast absorbing, quick dry consistency that allows for good evaporation of sweat, doesn't feel heavy or greasy on the skin. This is probably what makes this a good product for the face. But overall, it's balanced in a way that it is moisturizing. It doesn't feel drying. It doesn't sting or burn. Like the age defense one, there's no running into the eyes, blurry vision, or anything like that. So this one is $13.99 again for 2.5 ounces, same as the age defense one. I would say for me personally, I prefer the age defense one because I just like the way that it looks on the skin better, less shiny, rubs into the skin more easily. It's easier to spread on the surface of the skin. However, if you are someone who does not get along with hyaluronic acid, then the oil control one is going to be a good one for you. But if you have oily skin, the age defense one is not something that you should rule out just because of marketing. I think sometimes people get really married to the marketing of oily versus dry skin products. A lot of times there's significant overlap in these two categories in terms of what works for one person doesn't work for another. It really boils down to you as an individual. So don't just dismiss the age defense one. I happen to prefer the way it looks, and I find it is just a better moisturizer subjectively. So those are the two EUCERIN products that I have tried, but they also have a product I have not tried, the EUCERIN Advanced Hydration Sunscreen Lotion SPF 50. Kroger didn't have this one. Like these two, it is $13.99, but it is a 5-ounce bottle instead of 2.5 ounces, so half the price. It has hyaluronic acid like the age defense. It has licorice root and sodium ascorbyl phosphate and vitamin E like the other two. There is no niacinamide and there is no alcohol denaturant. So while I have not used this product, I suspect it's going to feel a little heavier on the skin, and some people are just fine with that, but other people, especially those with oily skin, tend to not care for that feeling. But this is marketed actually as a body lotion, I believe, a body sunscreen, but there's no reason to believe that you couldn't use this on the face. You may not like the way that it feels on the face. It's gonna be an individual thing, but you certainly can try it out, and it is less expensive. And then they make a spray as well, the EUCERIN Advanced Hydration Spray SPF 50. That product has hyaluronic acid, sodium ascorbyl phosphate, the vitamin E, no niacinamide, and there's no alcohol denaturant in that one either. Now, when it comes to sprays, I personally don't use them that often. I mean, sometimes I will, but I will remind you, when it comes to sprays, you can't just spray them on and think that you're good to go. You actually need to do multiple passes, and then after you have finished spraying, make sure you actually rub it into the skin. And be careful when you use a spray that you're not spraying it on the skin while you're outside, because wind can end up blowing away most of your sunscreen and it doesn't actually make its way onto the skin. Sprays are less reliable in terms of the coverage that they provide. We just don't have the data for the efficacy of sprays, but consumers prefer them. But I haven't tried it. Just wanted to put that one out there. But let me know in the comments, have you seen these EUCERIN sunscreens? I know I got a lot of requests to review them. I think even in my last Target video, I actually didn't see them in my Target. Moving on, now this is a product that's not necessarily new, but I've never talked about it. I mean, I showed it in a vlog here and there, but I wanted to pull it out and chat with you guys about it because I really like it. It is the Hero Cosmetics Force Shield Superlight Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This is another great everyday moisturizer with sunscreen. In contrast to the EUCERIN ones we just chatted about, this is a mineral sunscreen, so not a chemical sunscreen. Its active ingredient that's going to protect you from UV rays is zinc oxide. For people who have very sensitive skin and do not care for the feel of chemical sunscreens, they burn or sting, you want to just go straight to a mineral one, this would be a great option for everyday use. Now, the cool thing about this sunscreen is that it's got a green tint to it, which helps camouflage redness. And I have to say, for an all mineral sunscreen, there is very little cast. Now, if you have a deeper skin tone, I'm not gonna promise that this is cast free. I hate it when brands try and pretend like it's sheer or universal or whatever, because I mean, zinc on the skin of a deeper skin tone oftentimes will show up. This also has green tea leaf extract in it, which may help with oiliness, and it may also help combat some of the free radicals. Now, this formula has a lot of botanic extracts, which presumably have antioxidants that likewise can help with oxidative stress, but may be a source of contact dermatitis, irritation. People develop allergies to things like this or irritation. But overall, I really enjoy this because it's one of those moisturizing sunscreens that doesn't really feel like sunscreen, and it's comfortable to wear. It spreads on the skin really well, which for me is a big thing. I don't like sunscreens that are really tacky and you have to spend a lot of time getting them to spread on the skin. And sometimes that's the case with mineral sunscreens. This is not. It goes on, it's fast absorbing, it's not greasy, and it's actually very moisturizing. It doesn't leave the skin feeling dry. I know a lot of people don't like mineral sunscreens. They find that the zinc is drying. I would say this is definitely moisturizing, at least in my experience using it. I've rather enjoyed it. It's not water resistant. So again, think of this more of just an everyday moisturizer with sunscreen, but when you're gonna be outside doing sport, being outside for a long time, then you would be better off leaning into a water resistant sunscreen, which brings me to my last product. I've been waiting to chat with you guys about this. It is so good, and I haven't heard anybody really hyping it up. It is by this brand, Undefined Beauty. It's their R&R Sun Serum. This is a tinted mineral fluid sunscreen that is water resistant. I want to say it's kind of like a more affordable alternative to the Ilia skin tint sunscreen that is very popular. Unfortunately, in contrast to that, this only comes in one shade. While it's unlikely to work for everyone, this product, it really does. You know, the way it's formulated, I would say whatever the undertones of it are, it really does end up blending onto the skin in a sheer fashion. Of course, inevitably somebody with a deeper skin tone, it's likely to show up, but I'm gonna show you an image here where I'm wearing it on one side of my face and not the other, and you really can't tell a difference. I've got no sunscreen on one half of my face and I've got this on the other half. I mean, I really don't see any difference. It blends on the skin well. It spreads on the skin well. It's not greasy, although it does give a bit of a luminous, dewy glow, which for some people who have more of an oily skin type, they may find that that crosses the territory for them of getting into too shiny, too greasy, too oily looking. But I really think that it gives the skin a very nice glow. It's $28 for 1.7 ounces. And I mentioned the Ilia skin tint, which is $48 for an ounce. I almost feel like this too is very similar to the Sunforgettable Face Shield by Color Science, their original formula, but the tint on this, the product overall, in contrast to that, it really does blend onto the skin even in a more sheer fashion, less casty. See that product, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but that product, the tint, may not, doesn't end up working for people with deeper skin tones. That's why later on Color Science, they came out with more shades and they're, always working on that. But I would say when I first put this on, I was like, dang, is this Color Science Sunforgettable Face Shield? Because it even has the same odor. It's free of fragrance, but it has a little bit of a scent to it. It's not offensive, and it's not that sunscreen smell that a lot of people despise. It is more of an aroma. This product does have niacinamide. So if you are bothered by niacinamide, then skip this. And it also has a few botanic extracts, which again, may potentially be a source of irritation for some people. Like the others, it's got silica, which again can help with absorbing some excess oil from the surface of the skin. Now, one thing that definitely bears mention with this product is that it's tinted. So you've got iron oxides in there, which offer some protection, or have the potential to offer protection against visible light from the sun. We always, you pursue sunscreens for UV protection, which is not something that you see with your eyes. It's just a type of radiation that damages your skin. But visible light, you can see with your eyes, and we have come to learn it plays a role in hyperpigmentation. So it's really important actually for people with deeper skin tones when they're choosing a sunscreen to highly consider those with iron oxides, because they help prevent some of the sun damage that leads to hyperpigmentation. And they help actually in preventing the type of hyperpigmentation caused by visible light that kind of makes the hyperpigmentation more stubborn to clear. So it's definitely an ingredient that for people whose skin tends towards healing with hyperpigmentation, it should definitely be something that you incorporate, because it really can help prevent that and help it clear faster, we are learning. There was actually a recent article in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology going over how to go about making recommendations for mineral tinted sunscreens for skin of color that heals with hyperpigmentation. They stressed in that paper that the reason this is so important is that sunscreens, they are not protecting you against all things that can affect your skin that come from the sun. And by that, we're specifically talking about visible light, which impacts people with deeper skin tones. Simply saying choose a broad spectrum sunscreen is no longer a sufficient recommendation to make to all patients. You now have to make sure that we're educating our patients on choosing those with iron oxides to protect them against those additional wavelengths of actual visible light that likewise negatively impact their skin. So I wanted to point that out to you guys, because I've always gotten questions about, the need for protection against visible light. A lot of people call it blue light because it is in the blue light wavelengths. And it definitely is important. Unfortunately, brands make a lot of loosey-goosey claims about it, which makes it a confusing territory to navigate and explain, because brands kind of muddy the waters with their hype of stuff. For example, I'm going on a tangent here, but it's important. For example, brands will try and tell you that you need to be protecting your skin from the blue light that your devices emit, which is not, it's negligible. You don't need to be worrying about the devices. You need to worry about the blue light from the sun. And it does come through window glass, by the way. But it's not your devices. And the other thing, brands will make a lot of claims about their product protecting against blue light because their product has antioxidants. Now, blue light does create free radicals in the skin. And so, they kind of hang on to that claim, but it's not truly the kind of protection that people of deeper skin tones need to protect against that hyperpigmentation piece. They need the iron oxides. Unfortunately, sunscreens are required to demonstrate that they protect against UV rays. That's why you have an SPF on there, and that is a very regulated metric. There's nothing like that for visible light. Maybe one day there will be. So you have a non-biased assay or metric that the FDA regulates for claims around visible light protection. But as it stands now, we certainly don't have that. It's just a fairly newer knowledge piece that we have in terms of sun protection. Let me know if you have tried that though. I was really impressed with it. Anyways, you guys, this is more of a chatty review, but I wanted to bring these to your attention because they are really good. I've gotten a lot of requests to review these. You can pick them up at Target or Kroger, some of them, at least the EUCERIN ones. Let me know in the comments if you have tried these or what sunscreen you are currently using and loving. Spring is gonna be here soon. I'm excited for it because we've been having these gray days lately that I'm not enjoying and it's been cold, so I'm looking forward to spring. Anyways, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.